So I will call the combined special meeting of the trustees of Tulsa Airport Improvement Trust and regular meeting of members of Tulsa Airport Authority. Today is Thursday, March 10th, 2022. First item is approval of the minutes of the combined January 13th meeting of TAIT and TAA. Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Financial and operating reports. Alexis?
So I'll kick things off. It's been a couple of months since we met, and I thought we'll talk about the tower first, because that's our big project that we've been working on. At the end of January, we hosted a design charrette with our engineering and architectural firm. Frank and his team participated. We had about 25 FAA employees on the call, and a lot of different stakeholders involved in just discussing, basic elements of the new tower, the site, the mechanical systems, all of those things. They're really digging into the site that we've selected as the new location to do the environmental work. And all of this is also taking place in tandem as the FAA is finalizing the site, the AFTIL site selection process. We have to get their official workbook from that process that our design team will then use as they develop the site plans for the new tower. So while that's going on, I'm also working on continuing our effort to get additional funding to support the tower. I was in Oklahoma City a few weeks ago, and TAIT was a sponsor of the Aero Caucus meeting, which was the first one of this session. There will be a couple more. And I feel like our application is still being considered for ARPA funding. We have a request in for $20 million to match the funds that we've already raised. But in tandem with that, the FAA did come out with their notice of funding opportunity for federal dollars as part of the federal infrastructure bill. Under the terminal programs portion of the bill, we will be able to compete for about $200 million in total available funds that will be dispersed among 80 airports. So it's going to be a very competitive process. We are going to submit, I think they're due March 28th, right, Frank, around there. We're going to submit a funding request for the engineering portion of the work because that's already been bid. It's eligible because work began after November 15th. So the initial ask is going to be for about $3 to $4 million for that particular portion of the work. We hope to have the engineering work complete by Q1 of 2023. And at that point, when the next notice of funding opportunity is published, we're going to ask for federal dollars to support the project from that opportunity at that time. We can't ask for all of it up front because the FAA requires you to have bids in hand at the time that the grant is awarded. And we know that they're going to be awarding this round of grants probably in May or June. And there's no way we can have our tower designed and out to bid by that point. But we continue to look for all available funding resources. We know that this is a priority for our elected officials as it is for us, and work continues. At the same time, though, we have to maintain the tower that's here today. And so right now the elevator is down in the tower. We're replacing all of the mechanical systems of that 60-plus-year-old elevator. So the controllers have to climb 8 flights of stairs every shift to get up to the top. But they're being good sports about it. They appreciate the work that we're doing, not only to keep this tower in good operating condition while we have it, but to really help get a new tower built. We had some exciting news on Tuesday when Breeze announced new service to Nashville. So kudos to Andrew for helping us secure that service. It's twice weekly right now on Thursdays and Sundays, but it's on their new A220 aircraft. So customers have the option of upgrading to the nicest, that's what they call their first class product, the nicest service available. And so I hope that our customers will take advantage of the nonstop and go explore Nashville. I did want to hit on winter weather a little bit because we've had 2 weather events. And then of course we have this one coming up probably tonight. But our snow crews have really done a great job of keeping both airports open throughout the entire weather events. We've spent about $54,000 total on materials. That doesn't include staff time, of course, which when our snow crews start They typically work 12-hour shifts and then take a break and come back and do another 12-hour shift. This picture is of our new piece of equipment that the FAA purchased for us through a grant. It's called an MB5. That's right? But I hope you can get the idea of the scale of this machine. It's pretty impressive to watch. But we had some fun and asked our social media audience to help us come up with names for the machines. And they submitted, I think, around 25 ideas. And our snow crew actually got a vote on their favorites. So they've officially named them Yellow Jacket, Chuck Wagon, and Boss, which is big old snow shovel. But what really worked out for us is the company that manufactures those were here during the last snow event and were able to provide hands-on training during the snow event to our team, which normally does not happen. And so we got a lot of good training, and we look forward to officially putting those into service for our crews to use for many years to come. I also wanted to hit on spring break. If you have kids, then you know spring break is imminent. Many schools are out, in fact, starting tomorrow, and we are expecting travel to be busy. As last year was really the first sign that airport activity was picking up after the pandemic, we expect this year will also reflect the increased demand for air traffic. And so starting really this afternoon all the way through until Monday, we expect our checkpoint to be crowded, planes to be crowded. And then Arkansas spring break is next week. And so we get a lot of traffic for that time period as well. And then the final thing, I just wanted to remind you that we're having a medal ceremony after the board meeting today for our police officers, and I hope you'll be able to join us for that. With that, I'll turn it over to Bob.
Good morning. Today I'll be going over the January 2022 and January 2019 and fiscal year to date activities. We chose to compare our current fiscal year against 19 because we felt the effects of the pandemic in March of 2020. Really, that carried forward to the end of the fiscal year, and we really didn't start to see a significant recovery until March of 2021. So we have 24 months, 2 fiscal years, and the data is inconsistent. So 2019 is still a relevant benchmark. Looking at our activities, we're down about 10% for the month over month. However, we're only 3% down from the year over year fiscal year to date activities, about $914,000 difference. Our expenses continue to come in under previous fiscal year, 2% down from the previous fiscal year to date, about $262,000, leaving our net operating income of about 5% less than what it was in fiscal year 19. Our food and beverage down 33% and 23% for fiscal year to date. That's a difference of about $935,000. We still have about half of our food options unopened at this time. Our retail, different story, slightly lower January over January, but fiscal year to date, we're at 16% greater than we were in 19. The parking activity, 21% down in our ticket pulls and 10% down in our revenues compared to fiscal 19. Our ground transportation, this is a little interesting. It's kind of you have to drill down on the data to fully understand it. Our January 2020 over January 2019 is based on activities. When you look at the fiscal year to date activities comparative, there is a rate structure change that took effect in January of 2019. So the previous 6 months of fiscal year 19 are lagging as far as that revenue increase or fee structure change. So more accurately, we're still about 35% down from the actual activity based. When you look at the revenues, it looks a little different. Rent-a-car transaction days down about 29%. Our operations at RVS up for the month over month and up for the year over year by 17%, with about 18,370 plus operations at RVS. And fuel flow sales at RVS are up both in the month to month and the fiscal year date comparative, about 129,000 plus more gallons of fuel pumped at RVS in 2022 fiscal year to date than 19. And plane passengers were down about 15% for the fiscal year to date comparative. And in plane to cargo, we're down about 6% for the comparative. Now, in 2019, towards the end, there were issues with tariffs and trade wars. Today, we're facing supply chain issues. So, but we're about 6% differential there. The next slide kind of illustrates the revenues. We're down. We're kind of following the same path as 2019. 2019 being the green line. We've intersected. We've had a few dips in October and January, but we're pretty close to where it was in 2019. As you can see, the blue line is 2020. We're exceeding our previous fiscal years, but then we see the decline, and then we see the increase in our orange line 2021. So 2019 kind of is our closest comparative of actual data that's unskewed by the pandemic. And our expenses, again, kind of mirroring 2021. We started off slow where we left off with the pandemic in the previous fiscal year, but our expenses are kind of mirroring it. Some peaks and valleys in 2019, but that, again, that's the best comparative data. Looking at our enplaned passengers, our activity here, if you can see it, is the little red dot at the 80,000 mark, about 15% down from fiscal year 2020, calendar year 2019 and 2018, about 8%. So significantly higher than we were in January of 21, but not quite where we were in the previous calendar years. Looking at our comparative to budget, when we designed our budget for last fiscal year, we took into account all of the different variants of COVID and their effects. We really have gained the momentum of our spring break of last year and carried that forward. We're about a month ahead of where we thought we'd be with our revenues, which is a good place to be. But we're about $3.7 million ahead. Our passenger carrier activity and our parking and rental car activity being the big leaders there, and our miscellaneous revenues being the majority of that CFC collections being the big gaining points there. Our expenses still operating slightly below budget, 8% down, about $1.1 million lower than we thought we'd be. But our net operating income, which goes towards debt service and capital purchases, we budgeted about 6.2. We're about 11.1. So that helps us cover our debt service as well as our capital purchases and alleviates the requirements of our cash funds. Looking at our unaudited fiscal year to date compared to audit, this is kind of just a more drill down of the first two lines of the initial slide, 3% down. The big areas there, again, are parking and the gap between our carrier passengers, air carrier passengers, and our CFCs and the miscellaneous revenues. But our expenses, again, almost mirroring our salaries and benefits from 2019, slightly higher. Our materials and supplies slightly higher. Our services down, netting to about a 2%, and our net difference about $500,000, $550,000+ difference between previous fiscal year date and current. Looking at our days of cash on hand, we're tracking at about 23.6 million of total unrestricted cash. Using our budget and our capital expenses, we're at about 330 days of cash on hand, a little over halfway through the fiscal year. Looking at our debt service, about $6 million left, no issues in covering that debt service. Looking at our reserves, we're about a month ahead of our debt service reserves over debt service for fiscal year 22. Any questions?
So as we go forward, we're a month ahead on revenues. Are there positions, the salaries seem to be lower than what we're budgeted. Are there positions we're filling that are going to kind of close that gap?
Yeah, I mean, we still have several vacancies in the organization that we need to fill.
Yeah.
I think we have around 12 openings right now total. So, yeah, I mean, if we were fully staffed, I think we'd have that number closer to our budget. We do have another item on the agenda under reports. I've asked Frank to give you all a quarterly update regarding the Riverside Master Plan project. That's quite a significant project that requires a lot of community input. And while a lot of work has been taking place behind the scenes, I felt it was important to give you an update because it's been a few months, so Frank could do that.
This is just an extreme high level notification of what we've done so far to date. On the screen, you see that we have a master plan schedule. This was originally from the consultant. They got started on the project about September of last year. Currently, we're about a month and a half behind schedule. On that first, the left side under 2021, you see FAA approved. We still don't have FAA approval on the forecast. We're working with them, trying to get information from them, but they work at their own pace a lot of times. The stars up there, you'll notice that there are 6 different stars. Those are basically deliverables and milestones throughout the project. Currently, we have received 3 of those milestones. It'll come later in a different slide, but those are in draft form. We are reviewing them as well as the FAA. If you would like to have those, we can get them to you either in paper form or on a zip drive. They're too large for an email. But down at the bottom, you see the Oversight Committee meeting number 1. We've already had that one, of course. We are scheduling the Oversight Committee number 2 meeting probably mid-April. There's been a ban on travel from RS&H due to the upswing in COVID. Of course, now it's starting to fall off again, so we figure probably mid-April. And shortly after that, we will schedule the first public town hall meeting. The FAA requires, I believe, 3 town hall meetings for master plan. So I'm smart enough that there we go. This is the current master plan progress to date. If you notice on the left side, got some triangles. Those are the deliverables that we have received so far in draft form. The green identifies, and I apologize for how terrible that looks on the screen. The green identifies areas that are on schedule. The red identifies areas that are behind schedule. Currently, as the original schedule identified, the consultant had scheduled for the FAA final approval to be in November 22. I believe it's probably going to be closer to January 23 before we get it completed. Again, a lot of that problem is getting information from the FAA. This last slide is, like I said, we have 6 milestones. These are the first 3 that we have received so far. The first one is goals and objectives. Second one is inventory and existing conditions. And of course, the third is the forecast. Again, those are in draft form. And if you would like a copy of those, we'd be happy to get them to you. There's no question. Over.
Okay. Got donation from
Yes.
Levitz.
So item number 3 on the agenda is to accept a donation from Rita Levitt, Ken Levitt, and Jennifer Levitt Cowan for 1 chromium stainless steel sculpture by artist Jonathan Prince, valued at $200,000 for placement in the Dr. Simon Levitt Sculpture Garden, which is located just out front between Baggage Claim A and Schwab Hall. We have such beautiful artwork in the sculpture garden, and this is a nice addition. After talking with our maintenance department and with CAG, we've decided to locate it. You can kind of see in the arrow where it'll be placed, but it'll be just another nice addition in the oasis that our employees and our customers get to enjoy when they need a little break from the hectic pace of travel.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Change in previously approved purchase price for 2 11 passenger.
Yeah, we'd like to request the approval of a change in the previously approved purchase price of 2 11 passenger transit shuttle buses in the revised amount of $191,763. This is an $8,860 increase from the approved August 12th, 2021 agenda item. This is an increase per unit of $4,430 for total cost, for an increased cost for the bus chassis from the manufacturer. The vendor is Creative Bus Sales, Inc. One of the shuttle buses will contain a wheelchair ramp and associated ADA equipment. Updated amount $96,839, and one shuttle bus will be a standard low floor model, and the updated amount of $94,924. This is under state contract SW0797C. Originally, the manufacturer had reached out to us and notifying us that there was a $23,200 per unit increase from the manufacturer chassis. We were able to negotiate that down to a $4,430 increase. This should be delivered on our schedule of May, June for the end of the fiscal year.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries.
Item 5 is accept pending NCOG grant in the amount of up to $500,000 for the Tulsa International Airport Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Project. That's a whole bunch of words, and what does it mean? NCOG is providing a grant to us in the amount of $500,000, and with that, we are going to install the infrastructure and some units for electrical charging vehicles in the parking garage. We're also going to install the infrastructure for shuttle bus, electrical shuttle buses that we see coming at us in the future. This will be a 3-phase project. Phase 1 will install the infrastructure plus 4 units, which will total or charge 8 vehicles total, as well as the infrastructure for the shuttle bus. Second phase would be 12 additional chargers, and the third phase would be 16 additional chargers. So when this is complete, we'll be able to charge up to 64 electric vehicles in the parking garage. Management recommends approval of item 5.
Are we going to charge?
Yes, they will be capable of accepting credit cards, and that will be monitored.
I have one more question, I just want to know the mechanics of how it works. So I have an electric vehicle, and I park my car and I want it charged while I'm gone, and I'm gone 5 days. Am I paying 5 days of parking and for the charge, but I'm also tying up that charge spot for the 5 days? Is that how that works?
Basically,
Never mind.
we are able to, if you charge or pull into your parking spot, charge it, and then someone pulls next to you and they see that your vehicle is fully charged, they'll be able to take from yours and plug into theirs.
Okay.
They'll be able to, plus they'll be able to charge 2 vehicles at one time. So yes, it will be tied up. These will be slow chargers, so they're a whole lot easier on batteries.
Interesting, thank you.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Item 6, reject bids for aircraft rescue and firefighting auxiliary equipment project. The airport solicited competitive bids for auxiliary ARF equipment. One bid was received in the amount of $38,872, which is well below the budgeted amount. A formal quote process is required for projects that we expect to exceed $50,000. This quote was below that threshold, so we took that quote, requested a blanket purchase order with Big Sky Fire equipment in the amount of not to exceed $38,872. And for that reason, we are asking to reject all bids. Management recommends approval.
Why were we off so much, Jeff?
No explanation. We spoke with several different companies, and they were coming in around $80,000. And fortunate that in this case, we're below.
Could I ask, just from a logistical, from a logistical standpoint, why not just accept that bid?
We could have, but we only received one bid. Typically, we don't like to accept just one bid.
Okay.
And we didn't have to go with a formal contract. We could have gone with PO, and to tie up the loose ends, we wanted to go ahead and close it out with rejecting the bids. And we just use that bid. We have to receive 3 quotes for anything under $50,000. Or
Under our purchasing policy.
under our purchasing policy. yes.
Okay. So
And
that's-
because we received only one, we assumed that nobody else wanted to bid it. So we concluded that the other 2 were non-responsive.
Got it.
Just
We're following our purchasing
dot
policy.
our i's, cross our t's.
And we assured ourselves quality here is,
I'm sorry, sir.
we've assured ourselves that the quality of this equipment is.
Absolutely. Big Sky, I believe, is out of Montana. And they do work all over the country, provide this type of equipment.
Have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. 7,
Item 7, excuse me, accept selection and approve award of contract for professional engineering services to Garver LLC in the amount not to exceed $159,700 for the Arc Flash Study project. This contract provides funding to study the airport's existing electrical system and provide proper labeling on all the electrical panels to warn both TAIT employees, contractors' employees of hazards that could cause injury due to shock, burn, failure of equipment inside that particular cabinet. 4 consultants submitted qualifications in response to our RFQ, and Garver was selected best qualified. Management recommends approval of item 7.
motion.
Move approval item 7.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Number 8,
Item 8, accept selection and approve award of contract professional design services to Poe and Associates Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $152,000 for the Tulsa International Airport Terminal Access Road Repair Project. This contract provides funding to perform the design needed to prepare plans and specifications to competitively bid this project. The project will include rehabilitation of the existing, entrance and exit road, arrival and departure roadways, and will also consider a new turn lane for customer parking, trying to access the parking garage and economy lot, along with other miscellaneous roadway repairs. We had 10 consultants that responded to our RFQ on that project, and Poe and Associates was selected best qualified. Management recommends approval of item 8.
motion.
Move approval. Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
I missed the second. Okay, thank you.
Motion carries. Number 9,
Item 9, excuse me, is accept bid and approve award of contract for Barnes Construction Solution Incorporated in the amount of $338,029 for the terminal sidewalk repair project. This provides funding to repair sidewalks along the terminal Tulsa International Airport's arrival departure roadway. It also repairs the sidewalk leading to employee lot A and B, and completes the sidewalk leading to Hilton Garden Inn. We had 3 bids. First, or the ranging in price, there we go, $338,029 up to $508,093. Engineer's estimate was $332,417, 1.7% below contractor's bid. And if you look at the screen, we've got sidewalks colored both in blue and red. The blue, of course, is upper and lower level at the terminal building. They've got 30 days to complete that project. project. The project will be completed by May 1. The red areas are repairs and or construction of new sidewalks that will start after May, and they've got 30 days to complete that portion of the project as well. We're trying not to have any major construction going on during the PGA, and that's what we asked them to do.
Yeah.
So management recommends approval of item 9.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Item 10, approve amendment number 1, to professional services agreement with Atkins North America Incorporated in the amount of $47,520 for additional construction administration services for hall route repairs, sign pad extensions on the runway 18 right, 36 left, safety area interim, and pavement rehabilitation project. Management recommends approval of item 10.
Move approval item 10.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And what exactly is the amendment?
The,
What-
There we go. Atkins North America performed the design of the services of the project and also construction administration. Through the project, they ran into problems with sign bases. One was too large, stuck over into a ditch area. We had to rechannelize the ditch. They had additional design work there that was not anticipated. They had some sign panels or pads that need to be extended. The existing ones that we were going to reuse were not large enough for the new signs. And the roadway repairs or the haul route repairs, originally we had planned that the haul route would be deteriorated over time with construction. So we identified that we believe that a mill and overlay would take care of those repairs. That was not the case. The haul route fell apart, could not mill and overlay, so we had to go in there and have them do a design to remove and replace the existing.
Okay.
So that was extra work that they had to do. Item 11 and 12, if I can take together, will also explain some of that.
Okay.
Item 11 is approved change order number 4 with APAC Central Incorporated in the amount of $71,905.45 for the runway 18 right, 36 left safety area interim project. Change of quantities or item 12, change of quantities number 1 with APAC is in the amount of negative $52,864.25. The change order removes the milling and overlay that we had in the plans and specifications that the contractor had bid. The change order in the amount of $71,000 adds the removal and replacement of the pavement that had been deteriorated that we originally thought the mill and overlay would take care of. Change order number 4 also adds 40 calendar days to the contract for that work to be performed. To date, change orders equate to a 0.4% increase in cost. The change of quantities is a negative 0.5% change. To date, the contract has changed by 0.5% decrease. Management would recommend approval of both item 11 and 12.
Okay. Makes a little more sense now.
Move approval, 11, 12.
All in favor, say aye. No. Motion carries.
Item 13. This is another one of those that you should be real excited about. If you remember a couple of months ago, we had one that was under by lunch. This one is accept project approved final payment with Industrial Controls of Oklahoma LLC in the amount of $895 for the ARF optic line project. This project replaced a communication cable with hard copper from the tower to the ARF station with fiber optic for the mesh phone. Original contract cost or bid was $61,895. We had no change orders, no change quantities, so we completed the project as it was bid.
Have we ever had that before?
I could probably count on one hand. how many
I was gonna
times.
say, I don't
We hit
think
it
we've
right
ever
on the
had
nose.
anything that's, right on budget, so who would like to make a motion on that one? I'll do that.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no.
All right, item number 14 is to approve the cargo facility sublease agreement with L3 Harris Technologies for 5 years with 3 5-year options at cargo building number 3, effective July 1st, 2022.
Move approval.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is approved. 15.
Item number 15 is approve acknowledgement and consent to collateral assignment from Sparrowhawk Incorporated to American Bank and Trust Company effective upon approval. This is for hangars 23 and 25 and the fuel storage area at hangar 28.
Motion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. 16.
Number 16 is approve the airport's non-signatory air carrier sublease and license with Breeze Airways effective June 1st, 2022 for 1 year at the standard non-signatory rate and subject to the airline incentive program.
Move approval item 16.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Number 17 is approve the amendment number 4 to the food and beverage concession lease agreement with Delaware North TUL LLC to add 142 square feet of office space and adjust the rentals effective February 1st, 2022.
Approval item 17.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. So the baggage service office, that's kind of where they're expanding into, is that what it is?
There's an office location in the baggage claim area that they use.
Oh, okay.
That's a little more convenient to have a place like the
Okay.
security in the location.
I was just looking at beverage concession license agreement
Yes.
and baggage service office.
Yeah,
I'm trying to connect the dots.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 18.
18, approve the sublease agreement with Hangar 19 LLC for 20 years with 1 5-year option to extend the term effective April 1st, 2022. Ground at building 13.
Motion.
Move approval item 18.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Number 19, approve the display agreement with Tulsa Global Alliance for a 1-year term effective January 1st, 2022 for the Sister Cities Program 40th Anniversary Art Exhibit.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is approved. Number 20.
Number 20 is to approve temporary sublease agreement with Christensen Aviation Incorporated for a 7-day term, May 16th through May 22nd, 2022 for a flat rate billing of $538.20. This is for extra apron space during the PGA Championship for the expected increase in GA aircraft that they will need to be parking at Riverside.
Move approval item 20.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. 21.
All right, we asked that we could take 21 through 23 together. Number 21 is approve the assignment of sublease and acknowledgement and consent to assignment from Charles Sublet, successor trustee of the Joe L. Norton Revocable Trust to ASJ Properties LLC effective upon approval for Lot 12, Block 10, Northeast Hangar Development. Number 22 is approve the assignment and sublease and acknowledgement and consent to assignment from Charles Sublet, successor trustee to the Joe L. Norton Revocable Trust to ASJ Properties LLC, effective upon approval for Lot 5, Block 11 in the Northeast Hangar Development. And number 23, approve the assignment and sublease and acknowledgement to consent and assent to consignment from Charles Sublet, successor trustee of the Joe L. Norton Revocable Trust to ASJ Properties LLC, effective upon approval. And this is for Lot 4, Block 1B in the Northwest Hangar area.
Move approval. Move approval.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Carried.
Number 24, approve assignment of sublease and acknowledgement and consent to assignment from John Moss to the JAM 2022 Trust dated February 15th, 2022, effective upon approval for Lot 8, Block 11 in the Northeast Hangar Development.
Motion.
Move approval of item 22.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Number 25, approve new sublease agreement with B24K RES LLC effective June 1st, 2022 for Lot 12, Block 7A in the Northeast Hangar Development B24.
Move approval item 25.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. We've got an executive session. Have a motion to go into executive session. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no.
Executive session at 9:11. We've made a motion to come out of executive session at 9:25. There were no decisions made during the executive session.
Correct. So next item would be to adjourn. Have a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
All right, we will adjourn over to our ceremony.
Yes.